Sports jerseys are iconic fashion pieces and have been a staple in the wardrobes of sports fans for decades. You see jerseys of guys like LeBron James, Lionel Messi, and Shohei Ohtani all the time. This week, I was looking at one of my hockey jerseys and I was starting to wonder what have been the top selling jerseys throughout the 21st century. So, in this video, I'm going to show you guys, after a lot of research, which athletes have the top selling jerseys throughout the four major US sports from the year 2000 to today in 2025. So, we'll jump right in here. So, when I originally shot this video, it was unnecessarily long. So, I'm going to try to go through this faster and just we'll get this done in way quicker time than I had earlier. But we'll start with 2000. So, we got Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was 21 years old at this time. He was coming off his first NBA championship with the Lakers, and that number 8 jersey is iconic. And this started a long run of Kobe Bryant selling a lot of jerseys for the NBA. And then for the NFL, in 2000 we had Brett Favre. We saw the Packers go to a couple of Super Bowls in the late 90s. We saw Brett Favre win some MVPs. Brett Favre is known to be one of the highest selling NFL jerseys in the history of the NFL. So at the peak of his prime here, being that gunslinging, gritty quarterback he was, no surprise here, Brett Favre took home the number one selling jersey in 2000 for the NFL. Next, for the MLB, we got Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey, the electrifying player he was, returned to his hometown of Cincinnati this year to play for the Cincinnati baseball team. And because of that, his jersey sales shot to the top of MLB jersey sales that year, and he got the number one spot. And then for the NHL, we have another electrifying player in his respective sport, Jaromir Jagr, going here to the Penguins. He was bringing in that really electrifying style of hockey to an already big market in the NHL. And Jaromir Jagr right here taking home that number one spot for the NHL in 2000. 2001, we see Kobe Bryant again. So, I mean, the Lakers are at the top of the world here with winning a second straight NBA championship, paired here with Shaq. And no surprise here, we see Kobe continue to sell jerseys. For the NFL in 2001, you got Mike Vick. Mike Vick's coming off an electrifying college career. This is a quarterback unlike anything the NFL had seen before, with his running capabilities and ability to throw the ball and just do it all. So Mike Vick landing in Atlanta here, being the number one pick in the 2001 draft. No surprise seeing fans get their hands on his jersey. Next, for the MLB, we have a global icon here in Ichiro Suzuki for the Mariners. He won the MVP this year, and he won Rookie of the Year awards, and the Mariners were pretty good, so no surprise here. Him selling jerseys in Japan and America, global icon, number one selling jersey. And then for the NHL, you have Mario Lemieux. Mario Lemieux was battling some illness and a lot of things and came out of retirement this year to come back, or to come to the Pittsburgh Penguins. And this hype and people wanting to see a legend of the game get back to performing and being the player they remember him to be shot his jersey sales to the top of the NHL in 2001. 2002, Kobe Bryant, Lakers three-peating here. At this point, Kobe Bryant's the face of the league, and everyone wants something to do with the Los Angeles Lakers. And then for the NFL, this is one that actually surprised me. Brian Urlacher, blue-collar type of player here for a really strong Chicago Bears team. He won the Defensive Rookie of the Year award in 2001, and just his style of play that people appreciated, especially the Chicago fans, had him as the number one selling jersey in 2002. Next, a super electrifying home run hitter in Barry Bonds here. Barry Bonds was putting up some crazy video game numbers that were unbelievable at this time in the MLB, and his San Francisco Giants jersey was the number one seller in 2002. For the NHL, we got Calgary Flames, Jerome Iginla. So Jerome Iginla led the Canada national team to a gold medal this year in 2002. His gritty style of play and everything about his play just captivated the Canadian fans. And you know, all Calgary Flames fans being in Canada bought his jersey after that gold medal championship. And fans all around Canada were showing their support for Jerome and copped a jersey of this gritty player capable of immense leadership. 2003, we see LeBron James enter the NBA. So LeBron, with all the media attention behind him, becoming Cleveland Cavaliers straight out of high school. No surprise here. This phenom, his jerseys were at the top. Everyone wanted to buy a Cleveland Cavaliers LeBron James jersey to show their support to this rookie, especially those Cleveland fans who were desperate to hoping their hometown kid could take them out the mud. Next, we got Mike Vick in 2003. At this point, we were able to witness Mike Vick at the prime of it, or at the peak of his powers. We saw his college game translate to NFL. He had become a cultural icon at this point outside of just football, and Mike Vick jerseys were selling left and right. Derek Jeter in 2003, Yankees legend. We're going to see him a lot on this list. I'm not going to harp and give an explanation every time we see him, similar to Kobe Bryant. But Derek Jeter eventually goes on to win all those championships with the Yankees, take home a lot of Yankees awards, take home a lot of baseball awards, and fans all around the world show their respect to Derek Jeter and just the New York Yankees in general. That Yankees logo and that Yankees ball cap is recognizable all across the world, so it's no surprise that the eventual Yankees captain and leader in Derek Jeter would be the number one selling jersey. A lot on this list. And next we got Steve Yzerman. So this right here was another player played with that grit, and with that Red Wings team that was really successful at this time in the NHL. You have the longtime Red Wings captain selling jerseys and people paying their respects to a really strong captain and a really strong Red Wings team here. Next, in 2004, we got Shaquille O'Neal. So in the summer of 2004, in a blockbuster trade, Shaq was traded to Miami, and that shot Shaq's jerseys to the top of the NBA jersey selling charts, or NBA sales in jerseys chart, whatever. And Shaq was the number one selling jersey. And in the NFL in 2004, Big Ben took the league by storm, the rookie phenom, leading the Steelers to 15-1 season. So no surprise there, Big Ben being the number one selling jersey. Manny Ramirez helps the Boston Red Sox win their first World Series in 86 years. And you know all the Boston fans were repping their Boston merch and were going in and buying every single jersey on the shelves. And Manny Ramirez, being one of the key players to this team winning that World Series, had the number one selling jersey in the MLB that year. We see Jerome Iginla again this year, and this year he led the Calgary Flames to the Stanley Cup final. They came up short, but his play captivated the fans of the Calgary Flames and fans around the world, and his jersey was the number one selling jersey for the NHL. Next, another Miami Heat for the NBA in 2005, and Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade at this point was the electrifying player we grew to know in D-Wade. And him and Shaq were putting up some crazy games, crazy numbers, and people were getting their hands on their D-Wade jerseys. We finally see Tom Brady on this list. By this time, the Patriots had won 3 Super Bowls, and Tom Brady was solidifying himself as the best quarterback in the league. And every Boston or Patriots fan at this point probably owned a TB12 jersey, and people around the world and the league were copying their Tom Brady jerseys. Next, we see another Red Sox player, Dave Ortiz, another player from that 2004 World Series team who became a fan favorite around the sport of baseball. So no surprise seeing Dave Ortiz here being the top selling jersey. And then next, we got a rookie, hyped up generational talent, and Sid the Kid Crosby entering this list. Another player we're going to see a lot on this list, but the Penguins take him at just 18 years old, and Sid the Kid delivered in his first year as the number one pick, putting up some crazy numbers, having some electrifying plays, and winning that Rookie of the Year award. 2006, we got Kobe Bryant. The Lakers, Kobe Bryant dropped 81 points in the game this season. He won the league scoring titles, averaging 35 points a game, so no surprise here, Kobe Bryant back to the top. Next, we got Reggie Bush for the NFL in 06. The Saints, this is the unfortunate time when New Orleans was hit by Hurricane Katrina. Reggie Bush entered the league off an electrifying college career at USC. And this entire city of New Orleans was rejuvenated by the play of Reggie Bush and Drew Brees and this Saints team. And Reggie Bush, being the electrifying running back he is, shot up to the charts to being the number one sold jersey in the NFL. Albert Pujols leads the Cardinals to a World Series this year. He's known to be one of the best hitters in baseball at this point of his career, and no surprise here, with the season he had and the season the St. Louis Cardinals had, his jersey was the number one selling jersey. 2006, the Philadelphia Flyers landed superstar in Peter Forsberg in free agency. Coming to a big market like Philly, your jersey is going to shoot to the top. And Peter Forsberg, being that gritty, respectable player he was, two-way player, his jersey was owned by every Flyer fan that could afford it at this point. 2007, we see another blockbuster trade in the NBA. We got Kevin Garnett being shipped off to Boston. And the Boston sports at this point was living at the top of the world. And you get a guy like KG, who's won MVP in Minnesota. Boston fans were scooping up their KG jerseys as this team prepared itself to win some championships. And then next you got LT. So in 2006, LT as a running back, LaDainian Tomlinson won the MVP award with 31 touchdowns. Electrifying running back, think Saquon Barkley before there was a Saquon Barkley over there in San Diego. And his jersey was the number one selling jersey in 2007 after that crazy year. Again, we see Dave Ortiz in 2007. Dave Ortiz, the Red Sox win another World Series. Dave Ortiz is still a fan favorite, kind of like the Gronk of baseball. So his jersey, no surprise, top selling jersey here in 2007. Next, we got Sid the Kid Crosby again in 2007. He was the youngest scoring champion in NHL history in 2007 and the youngest MVP. Sid the Kid was proving to really live up to that number one overall generational talent pick at this point. 2008, we got Kobe Bryant again. Lakers come back and win an NBA Finals. So his jersey, no surprise there, shoots back to number one. Kobe Bryant, Pau Gasol here, bringing the Lakers some more championships. Brett Favre comes out of retirement, joins the New York Jets. When a player like Brett Favre, who's already known to be one of the top selling jerseys, joins a team in New York, you know his Jets jersey shot up to the top. Again, Derek Jeter, not much more to be said here. Sid the Kid Crosby in 2008 here, we see him again, and the Penguins reached the Stanley Cup Finals here in 2008. He was becoming the face of the league, and his jersey stayed at the top of sales for the NHL. 2009, we see Kobe back at number one with the Lakers winning another NBA championship and him winning Finals MVP. So no doubt, number one selling jersey for the NBA. Kobe Bryant is a global icon. He's been a global icon by 2009, but everyone's got their hands on a Kobe jersey. Brett Favre going to the Green Bay Packers rival here in the Vikings at nearly 40 years old. His jersey was a top-selling jersey. People loved Brett Favre, and once he switches teams, people were hopping on that jersey, especially those Vikings fans. Next, you got Derek Jeter. Yankees won a World Series title in 2009, so no doubt you're going to see Derek Jeter being the number one selling jersey for a big market like New York. Sid the Kid Crosby here in 2009. Again, we see Derek Jeter and Sid the Kid Crosby again. And in 2009, the Penguins actually do win the Stanley Cup. So, again, no doubt Sidney Crosby is going to be over here, the youngest ever captain to hoist the Stanley Cup trophy. 2010, LeBron James shocks the world, makes a decision, goes to South Beach, and we see his Miami Heat jersey being the number one sold jersey in the NBA. LeBron James and Kobe Bryant were the faces of the league at this point. I owned a Miami Heat black number 6 LeBron James jersey. I'm sure a lot of kids at that age did at that point in time, in that point in time. And then next we got Troy Polamalu coming off a Defensive Player of the Year award, winning the Super Bowl in 2008, having that flow, that crazy curly hair, being one of the hardest hitting safeties in the league. He was the number one selling jersey for the NFL in 2010. Next we see Derek Jeter, reigning World Series champ, continuing his New York Yankee legacy, continue to be the number one selling jersey for the MLB. And then in 2010, Sidney Crosby wins the gold medal for Canada in the Olympics. So in 2010, the number one selling jersey was the Sidney Crosby Penguins jersey, but the number 2 selling jersey was the Sidney Crosby Team Canada jersey. So Sid the Kid Crosby was the face of hockey around the world at this time, and for well-deservingly so, was the number one selling jersey for 4 straight years. 2011, NBA, Derrick Rose puts up that crazy MVP season that we all remember. And D Rose was single handedly carrying the Adidas basketball line, and he was carrying the NBA in jersey sales, being the number one sold jersey, and electrifying Derrick Rose, a super awesome Bulls squad. And we all know what happened before, how good he was before the injuries, so no surprise seeing him here. NFL, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers coming off a Super Bowl win, putting up MVP numbers, being one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if not the best quarterback that year. So no surprise seeing Aaron Rodgers for an iconic franchise like the Packers being the number one selling jersey. Again, Derek Jeter against Sidney Crosby. They're continuing their winning ways, continuing to break records, and yeah, that's all I can say for that. It's the same stuff for those two. Now 2012, we see a whole new list of guys coming in for the jersey sales. Carmelo Anthony in the lockout year for the NBA, King of New York. When you got a player like Carmelo doing what he's doing in a city like New York, you know that Knicks jersey is going to be the number one selling jersey. For the NFL, we got RG3 coming in off a Heisman Trophy, number one overall pick, and coming off a Heisman Trophy, getting drafted by the Redskins at the time, leading the Redskins to a playoff berth in his rookie year, winning Rookie of the Year, looking like the real deal. His jersey was the number one selling jersey in the NFL in 2012. Buster Posey for the San Francisco Giants here, hometown kid, leading the Giants to a World Series win, shoots him to the top of the jersey sales in the MLB in 2012. And next we got Giroux for the Flyers here. Again, big market team in Philly in hockey. And Giroux in Philly was the real deal. He was the golden child and the face of that Flyers organization. And for those numbers he was putting up for that team, well deservingly the number one selling jersey in the NHL. 2013, we see LeBron James back here in his Miami Heat jersey. LeBron James had won back-to-back championships with Miami at this point, beating the Spurs and Thunder. So no surprise, facing the NBA at this point, seeing him being the number one selling jersey. Next, we got Colin Kaepernick. This is Colin Kaepernick before the political stance, before him being blackballed by the league for his views on politics. I am grateful to say that I was able to see Colin Kaepernick play as a football player before all the BS. And I used to love watching 49ers football in Colin Kaepernick's rookie year and his second year because he was electrifying. He was like Cam Newton. He had the strong arm. He had the ability to run the ball. He led this team to a Super Bowl. And this was one of the best storylines in all of the NFL in his rookie year. So well-deservingly so, Colin Kaepernick was the number one selling jersey in 2013. Mariano Rivera in 2013. This was his last year farewell tour with the Yankees. So Yankees fans and baseball fans around the world paid their respects and copped themselves a Mariano Rivera jersey, shooting him up to the top of the jersey charts for the MLB in 2013. And then Sid the Kid Crosby. This was the lockout year for the NHL. Continued to be a highlight machine. Led the league in scoring, and no surprise here, top selling jersey. 2014, LeBron James returns to the Cleveland Cavaliers back home, shoots his jersey sales, or keeps him at the number one selling jersey, but this time in different threads, and nothing more to be said there. Then we got Peyton Manning coming to Denver here in 2014, having an MVP year, putting up 55 touchdowns, and a trip to the Super Bowl where they got smoked by the Seahawks, but still at the end of the day, this was one of the best quarterbacks in the league, having a crazy career year, and his jersey sales to the top. Derek Jeter here in 2014. This was his final year, his farewell season. So anyone that didn't have a Derek Jeter jersey bought themselves a Derek Jeter jersey this year around the world, potentially even doubled up on their Jeter jerseys to show their respects. Next, you got Patrick Kane. This is when the Blackhawks were at the top of their game, winning some Stanley Cups, and Patty Kane, being the electrifying scorer he was in the middle of all of this and earned that number one spot for most sold jersey in the NHL, giving Sidney Crosby a break from his reign. 2015, Steph Curry. Steph Curry's electrifying three-point shot that revolutionized the league and this game of basketball carried this Warriors team to a championship against LeBron James. Stephen Curry became one of the most recognized icons of the sport of basketball around the world around this time. Next, you got Tom Brady in the NFL. Tom Brady doing Tom Brady things, winning Super Bowls, winning MVPs, and no surprise here, we see Tom Brady in a year where they beat the Seahawks off that crazy Malcolm Butler interception. Next, you got Chris Bryant for blanking here. You got Chris Bryant for the Cubs here. Top prospect, debuted in 2015, won Rookie of the Year, and this was a time when Cubs fans were looking for something to look forward to, and Chris Bryant gave them that. And Cubs fans proudly rocked this jersey and shot at the top of sales that year for the MLB in 2015. So again, Blackhawks at the top of their game. Jonathan Toews, the captain of this Blackhawks team, hoisting that Stanley Cup here in 2015. His jersey with Patty Kane were the top two selling jerseys in the NHL in 2015. Again, we see Steph Curry in 2016. This was that crazy 73-9 year when KD joined the squad. They lost the finals, but Curry continued to revolutionize the game from three and be that global icon. Next, you got OBJ. Odell Beckham Jr. in his rookie year in 2015 took this league by storm, had that one-handed catch. He was one of the true global icons in the 2010s for the NFL. Kids all around the world knew who OBJ was. And OBJ's jersey, no surprise, being in that big market in New York, was the top selling jersey in 2016. Another name that was floating around here was Johnny Manziel, but Johnny Manziel's jersey sales plummeted after April, after the draft, so I thought it was more fair to give the spot to OBJ. Next, in 2016, for the MLB, you got David Ortiz. David Ortiz, again, putting up crazy numbers. This is his farewell season, so one of the golden childs of the MLB. You're going to see his jersey, obviously, be at the top here. And then again, this is that Blackhawks dynasty here with Patty Kane. So seeing him up there again for Blackhawk player for the third straight year. 2017, Steph Curry, the Warriors come back, win a finals. I mean, global icon. Still, everything I said in the last two occurrences of Steph Curry. So that's that. Carson Wentz in 2017. Eagles looking crazy, going to the Super Bowl. Nick Foles winning it for them. Carson Wentz and beating Tom Brady. Carson Wentz having an MVP type year. And Carson Wentz looked to be the quarterback of the future for the Eagles and be there to stay. So in a city like Philly, winning a Super Bowl, you know his jersey was going to be a top seller. Aaron Judge coming in here for the MLB here for the Yankees. He had a historic rookie season in 2017, crushing 52 home runs. Derek Jeter's gone now, but now you have a new face in Aaron Judge, potentially being the golden child for this Yankees team, making him the top selling jersey in the MLB that year. Sid the Kid Crosby, back-to-back Stanley Cups for this Penguins team, and Sidney Crosby obviously being the captain and being the middle of it, and the golden child with Canada and the Penguins. Again, winning a Conn Smythe trophy, top of the game, top of the jersey sales. Now we got LeBron in 2018 going to the Lakers. When you have a player like LeBron James going to the Lakers, you know his jersey is going to be the top selling jersey. Not much more to be said there. Khalil Mack for the Chicago Bears, Defensive Player of the Year. Khalil Mack was a force at this time for the Chicago Bears, and his jersey being the number one sold jersey in 2018 does not surprise me. Again, Aaron Judge continuing to ride that crazy rookie season he had in 2018 and being elite again in 2018 and a fan favorite. And this Yankees team won 100 games this year, and Aaron Judge was the top selling jersey. Ovi, the Capitals finally win a Stanley Cup with Ovi in 2018, getting past the Penguins. And Ovi and Sidney Crosby had that rivalry throughout their careers, but Ovi finally gets his top spot on this jersey sales list here after winning the Stanley Cup. 2019, we got LeBron James, Lakers. Again, not to be said here, when you are a global icon like LeBron James playing for the Lakers, passing MJ on the all-time scoring list this year, he's going to be the league's best seller. 2019, Patrick Mahomes has a breakout year after not playing his rookie year, winning the MVP, proving to be a face to stay for a while, and Chiefs fans jumped all over this one. Before Patty Mahomes went out and started getting that future GOAT conversation, his jersey sales already got to the top of the list for the NFL. Aaron Judge, again, Yankees, breaking records, not much more to be said here. Sidney Crosby, again in 2019. So now we go back from Ovi to Sidney Crosby. We're going to see a back and forth battle between these two. And yeah, I mean, Sidney Crosby doing Sidney Crosby things. 2020, so here we got LeBron James again. This was bubble year, and the Cavs the Lakers won the championship in the bubble. Tom Brady going to Tampa and Tampa winning a Super Bowl. That was huge. Tom Brady was starting to become more likable throughout the league this time. Like, I think him leaving the Patriots got a lot of people to more so appreciate the greatness than just hating on the Patriots and Tom Brady. So his jersey was a top selling jersey after a Super Bowl win. Mookie Betts had a crazy amount of home runs, was one of the best players in the league, one of the best hitters, and for a team like the LA Dodgers, his jersey was a top selling jersey. Again, Sid the Kid Crosby, not so much a kid anymore, but Sid Crosby's still a face of the NHL. And then we got 2021, LeBron James again won the championship with AD in the bubble. Still LeBron James on the Lakers, continues to be a top selling jersey. TB12, Tampa Bay Bucks, same stuff as a lot before. It's Tom Brady, it's LeBron James, GOATs, gonna sell jerseys. Mookie Betts, more of the same. The Dodgers continue to be great, and Mookie Betts continued to be great, and this garnered him to be the top selling jersey as they win the World Series around this time too. Ovi still hasn't won a Stanley Cup since the 2018 season, but is still one of the best scorers in the league, putting up Hall of Fame or amounting to have a Hall of Fame career. So we see Ovi in 2021. 2022, Steph Curry. This was the year that the Warriors come back and win the championship. This is a team without Kevin Durant, but they still find a way to get a championship here against the Suns. Josh Allen. Josh Allen begins to break out, look like an MVP quarterback, give that faithful Buffalo Bills Mafia fan base some hope that they could get a Super Bowl with this guy and Josh Allen. Mookie Betts, again, same stuff. Dodgers winning games, winning championships. Mookie Betts putting up crazy numbers. Ovi stuff. Nothing more to be said there. No championships, but he's starting. People are starting to recognize Ovi could break that Wayne Gretzky scoring record that was thought to be unbreakable for years. 2023, LeBron James, Lakers. Same stuff. I mean, just global icon in a Lakers jersey. He's going to keep selling. He's breaking records. There's a lot going for him when it comes to 50,000 career points and all that. So everything continues to pile up. Micah Parsons. Surprisingly, this is the first Dallas Cowboy we see on the list. I think Tony Romo was a number 2 selling jersey in 2009 or 2012 or something. But Micah Parsons, coming off a Defensive Player of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year season, stuff like that, gives the Cowboys fans a jersey to purchase. And being America's team, I mean, we were going to see the Cowboys on here at some point. Shohei Ohtani, the rookie phenom, player that can hit, player can pitch. Here for the LA Angels, being a global icon in Japan, in the U.S., around the world. So no surprise seeing Shohei Ohtani here breaking the league, being the number 1 selling jersey. Again, now we don't see Sid the Kid, or at this point Sid the middle-aged man, or close to being a middle-aged man, just racking up years in a row of jersey sales. It's Ovi now. So Ovi is one of the faces of the league and racking up those sales. And the Caps haven't found a lot of playoff success here since the Stanley Cup. Crazy fact is that the Capitals have only made it past the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs once with Ovi, and that was the year they won the Stanley Cup. But still, regardless, Ovi is a legend, and they continue to sell jerseys. 2024, Steph Curry. So Steph Curry, this was a year where, it's just Steph Curry putting up crazy numbers and still a global icon. So him and LeBron go back and forth, and Steph Curry gets it this year. CJ Stroud for the NFL. CJ Stroud had an insane rookie year, and Texans fans and football fans in general were going out and grabbing this guy's jersey, being the number 2 overall pick. Ronald Acuna Jr. for the Braves here for the MLB. Ronald Acuna was having an insane year, putting up crazy home runs, and the Braves win a World Series. So you're going to see, obviously, Acuna being at the top of MLB sales for baseball fans and Braves fans around the world. 2024 NHL, Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard had that Sidney Crosby kind of hype coming out of Canada, a young phenom coming to the NHL at only 17 years old. And Connor Bedard had an impressive rookie year. The Blackhawks have been pretty trash since. It's not his fault. It's just the roster around him. But Connor Bedard takes home that number 1 spot in 2024, being that Sid the Kid type of having the Sid the Kid type of hype. Let me move the screen around here for 2025 so you guys can actually see it. But 2025, present day. So the year's not over, but considering what we've seen with jersey sales up to this point and some of my predictions, this is what we have for 2025. So again, a big top 5 player coming to the Lakers and Luka Doncic. As soon as that trade happened and took the sports world by shock, Luka Doncic jersey sales shot through the roof. Him most likely being the future piece for this Lakers team and for this franchise. NFL, like CJ Stroud, you saw Jaden Daniels take the league by storm in 2024, 2025, going all the way to the NFC Championship. So Jaden Daniels gives the Washington fans some hope for the first time in decades, or in a decade plus, and he is the number 1 selling jersey for the NFL this year. Shohei Ohtani coming to the LA Dodgers, that is huge. And the Dodgers winning the World Series last year, you know Shohei Ohtani's jersey is going to be the number 1 selling jersey, being the superstar he is. And then no surprise here, this one is not proven, but I'm going to say it was Alex Ovechkin up to this point this year, because Ovi broke Wayne Gretzky's scoring record, and Sidney Crosby and the Penguins are not at that echelon anymore. Ovi's been the top selling jersey confirmed 3 out of the last 4 years. So I don't see any reason why Ovi would not be the top selling jersey this year. The amount of Ovi merch that was sold when he broke that record is insane. So I'm sure hundreds, if not thousands and 10,000s of his jerseys were sold across the world as Ovi engraves himself in NHL history as one of the, if not the greatest scorer in the history of the sport. So those are all the top selling jerseys of the 21st century. Which did you own any of these jerseys? I would love to know. Drop that below in the comments. Let me know, did any of these surprise you? I know some of them surprised me. Were there any on here you did expect to see? Any of these jerseys you're still looking to get? And yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. This was a fun one for me to do, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.